We got more clips from minicamps and OTAs, and today we're going to take a look at the New Orleans Saints and get another look at Spencer Rattler. But we're going to go deep looking at the minicamp clips. We're going to look at some OTA clips and even some rookie camp clips that are mixed in there. But before we dig in, you need to click that subscribe button right now. We're going hard in the paint, looking at these rookies every single day of this offseason, from rookie camp, the mini camp, the training camp, everything in between. We're looking at your veterans. We're looking at the storylines, and we're going to get you ready for the NFL season. Click that button. Stop missing out on what your favorite players are doing behind the scenes here at practice. Practice. And we're talking about Spencer Rattler here. I got a lot of clips. A lot of these are from Bootleg Media on Twitter. Shout out to them. 6.5 minutes. And we'll loop it too if we're talking ball, which we will be. Here he is. The ball's coming out hot. I definitely can say that. He's throwing with intent and drills. That's always a good sign. Letting you know he's taking his reps seriously. That's something you'll notice if you look at enough teams, that you'll see some quarterbacks not put some mustard behind it on some of the drills. But most quarterbacks do. I don't want to give you a wrong inference there. There he is. Ball getting out there. It's all from the Saints here. A lot of these I've collected over time during the offseason. A lot of these are from minicamp. The back half is definitely almost all minicamp. I will say this. He's very cool and calm. A very cool, calm player. We saw this coming out of high school, though. He just has that feel, that stillness about him. The way he carries himself. That's just how he is as a person. And the thing is, at Oklahoma, he was playing well at the start of his career. Then it kind of caught fire. And then we went to South Carolina, and he played well. And the thing about this, if you look at the course of his career, his collegiate career, it was going towards the high, and then we bottomed out, and then he dug himself back up. To the point he did get drafted. To the point he was in consideration with the top quarterbacks of this draft, with a lot of draft sites, with a lot of people talking the draft. He's a good value quarterback, I'll definitely say that. Heavy pedigree, a high pedigree coming from him. Good arm. Maybe needs to work on the consistency a little bit more, but you look at the pop on his step from the drop back. Gets the ball out quick. It's not like he can't do it. It's not like he can't do it. That's one thing you can't say about him. It's not like when you watch him play, you're like, there's zero chance. There's a chance with him. Now he can climb a depth chart, be a starting quarterback, but considering we saw turbulence throughout his college career, and we saw some upside, let you know that all he has to do is tap into it. That's easier said than done. That is a lot easier said than done. But for the price tag the Saints got, and for the amount of upside he has, he could be a difference maker down the line if he taps into it. And I bet you 3-4 years ago, if people said, hey, he's going to be drafted late to the Saints, y'all be excited. Y'all be excited about that. Watch him move around in the pocket there. Ball gets out, flick of the wrist. Drop back's good. There will be sketchy moments. We saw that on tape, but there's also moments where he just makes big plays. Fits it in tight windows downfield. Moves in the pocket, has a good feel. Throws off platform. There's just this up and down scenario with him. And that's okay. That's okay. It's not like you paid a first-round pick for that. It's a good discount. And now we're in a new scheme. We're with the Saints here. And we can develop. We can get better here. And the thing is, this is probably one of the best developmental quarterbacks in the league. One of the best developmental quarterbacks. What I mean by that is he's a quarterback sitting on the back end of a roster to develop. Like, there's not many other ones that you can say that are better than him. You can make a case that he's got a better pedigree than Trey Lance. You can make a case. I bet you there's people that would argue that. There's people that argue for Trey Lance and people argue for Spencer Rattler. I guarantee there'd be a battle for that in the comment section for us and somewhere, with him being a late round pick, Trey Lance being an early pick. However, Spencer Rattler, more experience, higher pedigree coming out of high school, looking good at Oklahoma. Then it crashed and burned and came back and carved his way back up. More snaps in the last 3 years, more throws, more experience. And they're both of them back in the rosters behind quarterbacks. But also, there's a perceived path. I'll say perceived because it's not really a pathway yet for both of them. Possibly, not possibly. You get what I'm saying. Due to contracts and things. That if they play well, they exceed expectations. They could be the guy, but they got to exceed expectations. What are the odds that he doesn't exceed expectations? We've seen a lot of quarterbacks fall in drafts, go in the middle rounds of drafts, and not do it. We've seen this before. We've seen this a lot of times. We definitely have. But the thing is, at this price point for the Saints, a day 3 pick, why not, right? It's looking good. The ball gets out there. There's nothing wrong for the Saints. They're in a win-win scenario. They get to look under the hood. They get to experiment a little bit. They can see what's going on with Spencer Rattler. Most he costs is a roster spot. There's no way you're going to put him on the taxi squad. There's no way you're going to be doing that. And if you're talking about dynasty fantasy football, 1 QB, you're getting late in the draft, you're probably taking upside swings at wide receiver and running back. Mostly running back, I hope, because that's what I'm doing. That's my strategy. I talk about my strategy, but I tell you about everything, so you can choose your choice. But 2 QB later in rookie drafts, the quarterback position, if he sniffs the field, if he can touch grass on the field as a starter for 2-3 games, you're going to be able to get a return on investment. 1, with the name cachet. 2, with him being a quarterback, and especially if it's an established league. If it's a newer league with newer players playing Superflex, 2 QB in Dynasty, then it may not happen. It may not happen, but it's an established league. You might see quarterbacks get traded once every so often, and quarterbacks that are like mid-tier quarterbacks go for way too much that you want to pay for. So you want to take shots on quarterbacks like this from time to time in your rookie drafts. Maybe even every year you just draft one of these guys and hope for the best. Hope that you get a Brock Purdy turnaround and just pray and pray and pray. It's not like you're throwing around picks in the 4th round. And a lot of people are paying up earlier than that. Late 2nd, early 3rd, because they've been in Superflex for a long time. Their leagues are established. No one's trading quarterbacks. And if you need a quarterback and you got to trade for one, you got to spend half your team. You got to spend half your draft picks. You're done. You're done for the future. If you need one, like your win now, both your quarterbacks go down, you're done. You're done. Your capital's roasted. That's why people are paying up. It really depends on your league, your scenario, your format, what you're paying for Spencer Rattler and Superflex. But I really suggest looking at him pretty heavy. Strategy-wise, looking at him pretty heavy. What that tells me, if I'm a Saints fan, if I made it through all this fantasy football talk, is that he is a developmental quarterback with tons of upside, that if he can tap into that potential, the sky's the limit. And there's a lot of people that's going to agree with me on that. I was looking up clips, and a lot of people talking him up. His arm, a lot of people talking him up with Caleb Williams in the clips. In the comment sections that I was looking at on Twitter when I was looking up clips, when I was looking at highlights, when I was looking things up. From what I read, things are looking good. Things are looking good with Spencer Rattler. Things are coming to him quick. He is adjusting well to the NFL game. He's adjusting well in camp. He's adjusting well in practice. And I imagine he would. I imagine he was able to transition from high school to Oklahoma pretty well, then from Oklahoma to South Carolina pretty well. I imagine that we got to wait till we get to training camp. A lot of these players are going to look good right now. T-shirts, shorts, just getting things installed, bare basics. We're looking at the basics too when it comes to pre-snap and stuff, because we're really just trying to get things installed so we can ramp things up in training camp. And then training camp will start slower, and then it ramps up. And it ramps up fast. First couple practices is kind of like a more hardcore minicamp, and then it ramps up. And then the clips are coming off. I'll probably have a Spencer Rattler video every other day or so. You may want to hit that subscribe button. Chris Olave, that's when the clips really start humming. I'll have way too many to really get out. But Spencer Rattler here, there's a lot of good intangibles to his game. We got to get it to come together. We got to put it together. We got to tap into it. But you can't say he doesn't have potential. You can say every player in the league has potential, but Spencer Rattler definitely does. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Make sure to hit that subscribe button on the way out. One thing for watching. Catch you on the next video.